Still on politics, the former governor of Kano State and the 2023 presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has declared that he is not for sale. Now, this follows the exit of the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf from the party. Kwankwaso made this statement on Friday while addressing supporters shortly after Yusuf officially resigned from the NNPP, saying he remains committed to his political beliefs and wouldn't abandon his principles for personal benefit. Meanwhile, the NNPP has described the resignation and defection of Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf as a betrayal, describing or expressing shock and disappointment over his decision to leave the party. Now, to discuss this further, we're joined by political analyst Ismail Auwal. He joins me virtually. Ismail, it's good to have you join us on the news. I mean, how do you assess the impact of Governor Yusuf's defection on the political landscape of his state and the broader party system in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. You see, honestly, at this point, everything is so intense. If you look at the political atmosphere, not only of Kano State, but of northern Nigeria generally. You know, if we go back a little bit, former governor of Kano, like Abdullah Omar Gandu, was the first person to leave Kwankwaso. But this is different. It is different because this time around, the governor is moving with the almost larger percentage of the party structure. All the local government chairmen have moved. We have resigned from NNPP with him. Almost 21 assembly members has moved, 6 National Assembly members has moved. So it is actually very, for me, it's actually very difficult for Kwankwaso to recover. But then, you know, Kwankwaso is a very massive, big political mobilizer. So it from the look of things, if you look at it very carefully, he has already started mobilizing, and that might also be dangerous for Governor Abba Yusuf. But then it is actually a heavy blow for Kwankwaso and NNPP generally. And if you look at the overall, or rather the bigger picture, now it's assumed that Abba Yusuf will be joining the APC. And if he joins APC, it means he has realigned with almost all the party bigwigs of Kano State. And that will, for me, give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu an upper hand. If you can remember, last election, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu got almost a million votes in Kano, larger than the total votes he got in Lagos. And with this, I can say this can also re-solidify that vote, or even give him more votes than he got in the previous election.
Right.
So I mean, it is.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying this, because it sort of leads into our next question. Now, we know Kano and how instrumental, how important Kano is in terms of votes and numbers at presidential elections. And as we're gearing in for a second term, and most importantly for electoral season, whoever wins Kano, which is one of the biggest numbers, is very important. But also NNPP has a very strong hold in Kano State in its entirety, right? And it sort of defines it. The power dynamics in Kano State is a lot different from every other state. Now, his exit from NNPP, and that's the Governor Yusuf Abba, has been described as a cold betrayal of sacred trust. I mean, from your governor's perspective, one, how would this defection now affect voter confidence, you know, and how the votes will play out in 2027?
Okay, just like I earlier said, Kwankwaso is a great mobilizer, and so many grassroots voters are with Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. But then for me, actually, I think Abba Yusuf have all the time in the world to prove that, or rather to take away all those voters. Kano, of course, Kano politics like victimhood. The moment you become a victim, the grassroots voters will definitely stay with you. And if you look at how Kwankwaso single-handedly supported or brought Abba Yusuf against all the wishes of strong political leaders of the state in 2019. Many of his friends leave him because of Abba Yusuf. Many of his former commissioners they come because of Abba Yusuf. And then still, Abba Yusuf chooses to leave Kwankwaso. Of course, they are describing it at a political betrayal. But then they said in politics, there is no permanent friends, only permanent interest. So Abba Yusuf still have time to prove that he is still capable of ruling the state. If he continue with the very good work he is doing in the state, I'm very sure, very, very sure if he continue or even intensify, I'm very sure Kano voters are still going to vote for him. The only problem for him will be when he stops turning out the work he's doing and relax. When he relax, he's definitely going to have a problem with Kano voters.
Now, as far back as late December 2025, there were murmurs about him defecting, right? About Governor Abba defecting. But also the fate of NNPP now lies in the balance here, because the only stronghold they had was Kano State. And now that, you know, the defection is imminent and it's very clear that he might just resign and, you know, join forces with the APC. Is Kwankwaso making the right decision here? I mean, what is the cost of personal conviction? What's the cost of his ambition? Would it be at the sake of the total decimation of NNPP, or should he join the APC at this time? What do you think?
Well, Kwankwaso is not also staying in NNPP. Kwankwaso is also, sooner or later, he has to leave NNPP. But
to where? Do you think to ADC, or would it be the ADC or the APC?
Well, actually, it might be ADC because he's holding a strong, spread talks with ADC. But then Kwankwaso has publicly said it in one of the sessions he's holding recently in his house that if APC is ready to pay the price, which he did not publicly stated, he is ready to join the APC.
What could that price be?
Well, he said in one of the systems that if he is to join any political party, he said any, it can be APC, it can be ADC, that if he is going to any political party, he's either going as a presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate.
Well, I must say only time will tell. I mean, let's look at the entirety of this high-profile defections that we're seeing, and clearly, like you've said, is clearly politically motivated, and is a part of. No, there are no lifelong friends in politics. You know, it's all fair weather friends. And so one has to look. What other high-profile defections do you see in the north, and what would this mean in the entirety of the northeast and northwest in terms of dynamics as we go into 2027? Very quickly.
Well, you see, if you look at northern Nigeria generally, you can see now the only big breath of northern Nigeria that is not in APC is Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. But if you look at all the states, all the northwestern states, all the northeastern states, you see that every big player of the game is now in APC. So anybody that is now going to join.
Seem to have lost our guest there, political analyst Ismail Auwal, just giving us a bit of insight as Kwankwaso is. Right, I lost you there for a second. You want to finish very quickly in 30 seconds? We lost you there for a second.
Yes, I was saying if you look at Northwest and Northeast generally, like every big player of the game, by the game I mean politics, is now in APC. The only person that's out is, you can say is Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, maybe Erufai in Kaduna, and we all know Erufai is not joining APC. So if it is not Kwankwaso, then anybody that is joining NNPC is just a regular player.
Only time will tell. I must say thank you once again for taking out time to join us. Ismail Auwal, they're joining us with Kano, just giving us insight as the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, has now exited the NNPP, and Kwankwaso said he's not for sale.